Hi guys, it's Lucy and welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about the way I'm studying at the moment in isolation and the way it's actually helping me. A lot of the time I study and not a lot goes in, but this is actually working. So yeah, let's just get straight on with the video. I will just add at this point, this isn't revision for me currently, this is actual studying. I haven't been taught pathophysiology yet because of this lockdown. I was supposed to start it. We're just now waiting on notes from our lecturers, so this is fully my studying, it's not revision from a lecture or anything like that. So I'm going to talk through my process of studying at the moment, and then I'm going to give an example of how it's helped me. So first of all, I've picked one textbook. I went to my uni library and picked up about 12 textbooks. I've got a couple, but there's one that I've fallen in love with and it's actually worked and helped me. So it's this one. One thing I didn't say, this studying is for pathophysiology as an example. So pathophysiology applied to nursing practice. Basically, paramedic science is actually quite a new course, so there's not many textbooks out applied to that, so we tend to go for nursing where possible if there isn't paramedic science available. So there's a lot in this that I don't need to know as it's linked to hospitals, but it's still helpful. So yeah, I've picked one textbook. I haven't used any other textbook during this time. I've been picking a chapter, so for example cardiac conditions, I've done the whole chapter, read it, wrote notes, drawn diagrams from the textbook. That might have taken 2 days, 3 days just to get that done because I didn't want to overload myself with information. And then I have gone into further detail. So first of all, I've analysed my notes. What do I understand, what don't I understand? The reason I might not understand something is because of keywords, conditions I'm not aware of, so I've gone and googled those, read up on them and found more information. And the stuff I'm interested in, I've gone away and googled more information about that because it's interesting, or I'm wanting to know why something does that. And I'm a person who can't just go from what's said to me, I have to research more into that. I have to know the full-on ins and outs of something. So for example, a heart attack, I need to know the full ins and outs of how it all works for me to understand. So that's what I've done. I've gone away and done more research and written more notes. From all the googling I've done, I've made more notes. I've added notes to my notes. This is my pathophysiology and pharmacology notebook. So for example, I went away and made revision cards for the layout of the blood flow in the heart and out of the heart into lungs, body, etc. That is my more research because I realise that's not something I'm fully clued up on. There's an Instagram account called Pocket Paramedic _ if I remember I'll leave it below. He's absolutely brilliant. He is a frontline paramedic who answers your questions, gives you more information, and so I just thought, there's something I'm not sure about, let's just see if he replies, and he did, and he explained more about acute coronary syndrome to me, so I wrote all that up there. Basically go from there really, just completely add to my notes, make revision resources to paperclip into my notes to read at a later date. And then finally I use Khan Academy, which is on YouTube, and they also have their own website, to fully get to grips with the topic I'm going on about. It's absolutely brilliant. I wasn't too keen on it for my GCSEs, my A levels, but for an actual degree it's brilliant. Yeah, if I give you an example of where it's been helpful and where all of that studying's been helpful. So what I do is, for example, cardiac conditions. So I've looked at atherosclerosis and I've looked at heart attacks, myocardial infarctions. So first of all, taking loads and loads of notes on post-it notes. As the video's been going along, I've watched the Khan Academy video once first, and then I've written notes the second time round with this. Put it into a bit of a step-by-step approach, and then finally I drew it up in full for the steps of atherosclerosis. Drawn it all up, printed the squares off on the computer so it saved a bit of time, and then drew it all myself, the actual stuff, wrote notes, and yeah, there's 12 steps, is it? Look. 9. Yeah, 12 steps there to teach me about atherosclerosis, and then I just put it on the whiteboard that's on my desk and I can look at it whenever then. Moving on to myocardial infarctions, I watched the video once, then took notes the second time. So this is all my notes from one video, and then I haven't got it, I haven't printed it off actually. Then I've put that into step-by-steps of the process of how a heart attack happens, and yeah, it's been really helpful. I also like to draw things out on a whiteboard and annotate that. That is also really helpful when it comes to pathophysiology and anatomy and physiology. And yeah, it's becoming really helpful. Tips I would give is don't study too much at once. I'm only setting myself about an hour or two a day to learn some information, and then I don't know why, but just before going to bed I kind of like to go over what I've learned in my head and see what I know, and then yeah, test myself throughout the week. And I'm definitely noticing that I'm retaining more information, I'm learning more, and I think it helps fully loving the topics you're doing. So you pick a degree that you love, and that's what I've done, and that's why I love learning so much. It's not a chore to go and sit and study because I like doing it. Sounds a bit weird. But yeah, I hope that's a bit of help and gives you a couple of tips on how to study. And yeah, I will see you in a video very, very soon. Bye guys.